So you had a fall pre-emergent done, but it's February and your yard is covered in weeds right now. So what went wrong? These are 3 reasons why your fall pre-emergent did not work. Number 1, did not get watered in. This is the number 1 reason why your pre-emergent treatments do not work, is that they do not get watered in. So let's talk about a scenario right now. So maybe you had your fall pre-emergent done on September 20th. Well, that's a great time to get your pre-emergent down. September, October, whenever the temperature begins to drop. So the timing was okay in this scenario. Well, you remember a conversation that you had with your wife about turning off your irrigation during that time of year. Fall is right around the corner. Your grass is not actively growing as much as it does in the summer, and you want to save a little bit of money. So you remember turning off your irrigation that time of year, and you just forgot about it. So you know that you didn't water in your pre-emergent treatment during that time of year, but surely it got watered in through rainfall, right? Well, let's think back to what was going on during that time. Here in Alabama, September and October were very dry. We were in a drought. It had not rained for weeks. So that pre-emergent treatment never got watered in. Some lawns ended up being okay. And there's no reason why some yards end up being fine in those same exact situations, and then some yards do not. When your pre-emergent product just sits on the surface of the lawn, it begins to start getting broken down by sunlight. Maybe the dew on the ground in the morning was enough to wash that product off of the grass blade and get it down to the soil where that pre-emergent barrier is created. But if not, that product just ends up getting broken down over time. I mean, sure, it's just going to sit there on the surface of the lawn until it rains again. But if you don't get rain for 3 to 4 weeks, even longer than that, then that product is not going to be as efficient as you want it to be. Number 2, poor application. So did you do the treatment yourself? Did you go buy a 50-pound bag of granular pre-emergent and put it in one of those little spreaders and put it out yourself? Did you read the label? Did you put out enough product? What was your spacing like in between your passes through your yard? Maybe your spacing was a little too wide. If you have straight lines of weeds in your yard, then that's most likely what happened. You want to overlap your coverage, overlap your passes so that you don't have any breakthrough of straight line weeds like that. If you hire a company to do these type treatments for you, then you have to ask the question, how well was that treatment done? Sometimes these companies make bad hires. There are lazy people that do exist in the world. I always hate to bring that up because I'm a lawn care guy. So the last thing I want to do is put blame on a lawn care technician. But unfortunately, this is a question you have to ask yourself. How well was that treatment done? Number 3, too much rainfall. So we talked about watering in the product. Well, on the other end of that, too much rainfall can start to break down your pre-emergent barrier. Excessive rainfall, if you have days and days of just hard rainfall, then just that can start to break down that pre-emergent barrier that you applied. If you have an already thin lawn and maybe you live on a slope, then erosion is going to occur whenever you have hard rainfall. So with erosion, whenever the ground shifts, then you're going to have a breakthrough of weeds in those areas. When that shifting occurs, the pre-emergent barrier breaks. So you're going to have weeds growing up through those areas. So what do you do now? Well, you can put out a post-emergent product to kill those weeds. And then turn your focus on spring pre-emergent. So this is the time of year where you want to get your spring pre-emergent down and prevent your crabgrass from popping up this summer. Don't make the same mistakes that were made during the fall pre-emergent and you should have a pretty good looking yard this summer with not many weeds.